Good morning. It is April the 9th, 2024, Tuesday, live now at 6:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A good solid 43 minutes late as we awaken to mass reboot and connection issues here in the studio. Very tempted to bag the show for today, but coming off the heels of a national championship, we figure coming on later is better than nothing at all. So congrats to the UConn Huskies. They win by 15 points over Purdue, a convincing beatdown basically of everyone that they face in the tournament, and they take home the title. My Christmas tickets for some people are going to be very happy because I have UConn, the Bruins, and the Celtics all wrapped on the one ticket. So congratulations to those who have marked that UConn box of those tickets. And a little disappointing for us last night as we fall 1 point off of our square, which was a extraordinary payout. Just foul them at the end. Just foul one time. As we needed that one lone point, and that was the difference of about $1,500 or so. That would have been nice to have at this point of the spring. All right, well, we move forward. UConn's the champions, and I don't know what else to say. What did you expect? I mean, we thought that they would win South Carolina. They win the ladies' title. So the two dominant favorites move on all the way. I know a bunch of people out there had the combo of South Carolina and UConn together. So if you had that, congratulations to you. And you are having a good Tuesday morning. A lot better than our studio was having, that's for sure. Hopefully we're coming in loud and clear. That's yet to be determined until I replay this back afterwards. But I'm going to assume that we're good to go. So UConn wins, and then we move forward. That's the wrap of another college basketball season. The next playoffs to come right here are the NBA and the NHL. Coming up, short slate in the NHL last night. Maple Leafs 3-2 winners over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does get a point, though, which will maybe be the difference in the end of the day for them making the playoffs or not. And Vancouver, they take out the Golden Knights 4-3. Those were your only two NHL games. NBA had the night off, a full NBA slate tonight, as this is the last week of the regular season for them. And now the Major League Baseball, if you paid attention to any of that yesterday, was back to its wild self after a calm, 3 or 4 days of scores not being anywhere near ridiculous like they were to start the season. Back to the ridiculousness again, as we are. We'll go ahead and recap that real quick. First game, Mets beat the Braves 8-7. Brandon Nimmo with a couple of home runs. 4-0 winners are the Guardians over the White Sox. White Sox 1-9 now overall. Cleveland 8-2. How about that? I said, watch out for Cleveland to go on a tear over the weekend and continue their winning ways. If you remember that at the end of last week, and sure enough, here they are with just 2 losses on the season. They won 4-0 over the White Sox. The Yankees with the home run ball. Juan Soto remains to be hot for them. 7-0 winners over the Marlins. Just 2 hits for Miami. They are now 1-10 overall. The Pirates, they won again, 7-4. Brian Reynolds with his 100th big league home run. So the Pirates 9-2 overall after having a nice 2 out of 3 series over the Orioles over the weekend. So the Pirates remain red hot. How about Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds? A monster home run, 450-footer that clears the center field wall and hits high off the top of the back staunch there behind center field. And then an inside the park home run added on to that. as he circles the bases for an inside the Parker. 10-8 winners are the Reds. The Blue Jays, and they beat the Mariners. Both of these teams semi-struggling, but the Mariners now at 4-7. 5-2 was the final in that one. So the Mariners, who are picked by many to be one of the successful teams out there in the American League West, they're off to a rough start for them. The Dodgers win on the road at the Twins. 4-2 winners are the Dodgers. We said watch out for the Twins a little bit, maybe not as good as advertised. When they get 3 hits against the Dodgers and only 2 runs off those 3 hits, they fall at home. Philly, with their bats struggling a little bit, floating at 500, but they win 5-3 over the Cardinals. The Astros, after taking a 2-1 lead in the first, then trail 5-2 after the first, win the game 10-5. So the Rangers leave the bases loaded with no outs in the first, and that's going to come back to haunt them at the end of the day. You think they're in good shape, up 5-2 after a 1. But nope, that's baseball. They lose 10-5. The Rockies beat Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks. So a little bit of revenge there for Freeland. He doesn't get the win. Gets the no decision, but unpitched terrible. So 7-5 winners for them over the Diamondbacks. The Rays, 5-6, fade train of the Rays a little bit, we said as well. Angels win over Tampa 7-1 in Anaheim last night. The wild game of the day probably goes to the Cubs and the Padres. The Cubs with an 8-0 lead lose 9-8 after a furious rally in the 6th inning. Was it in the 6th inning? Let's see. Yep, 7 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 8th, and 9-8 winners for the Padres. You went to bed saying, man, the Cubs were up 8-0. That's an easy winner. You were going to wake up to, and you had them. You're going to wake up shaking your head on that. 9-8 Padres over the Cubs. And then the Nationals, not the worst. We expected them to be maybe one of the worst teams in the league, but they're 4-6, 8-1 winners over the Giants. And the Giants, for all their good pitching, we were thinking off to a rough start for them. Blake Snell gets shelled in his first start of the season for the Giants. So a bunch of wacky scores. Let's see, 9 runs in the Giants game, 17 runs in the Cubs game, 8 in the Angels, 12 runs in the Rockies Diamondbacks, 15 runs in the Astros Giants. Philly Dodgers is a normal score. Let's see, 18 runs in the Reds and the Brewers, 11 runs for the Pirates and the Tigers, and 15 runs for the Mets and the Braves. So a little bit of a crazy scoring night there again for Major League Baseball. All right, I guess we'll stick with baseball and just get right into the slate since we're extraordinarily behind again. If you're just tuning in, we woke up to mass connection issues, rebooting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes the studio has a mind of its own, and you need to reset everything, and that's the case for this morning. In fact, let me check my audio on my settings just to make sure that we are doing good there. Yeah, that looks fine. All right, good. And we'll do the baseball slate for today. Okay. One early game, and then an afternoon home opener, and then the rest is from 6 p.m. on. I like how we start some 6 p.m. baseball. You seem to get it over with early. The Yankees game last night was done by 8 o'clock p.m. So anytime that can happen, that's kind of pretty good, to be honest. You're not wrapped up all night waiting for a game to end. We'll check out, let's see, Pirates and Tigers again. And our pitchers are Martin Perez for the Pirates and Casey Mize for the Tigers. Now, Mize, 6.23 ERA, 4.1 innings pitched, his only outing against the Mets. Perez has 11 innings pitched on the season, 2.45 ERA, so off to a good start for him, and 12 strikeouts over that stretch. I mean, the Pirates are a hot hand. They're 9-2. Detroit is a decent team, but I just think they're outclassed here a little bit with the Pirates batting. Let's see, Connor Jones hitting 3-2-4. Brian Reynolds, couple home runs, hitting 250. We would like to see a little bit more power out of the lineup for the Pirates, but they're able to manufacture runs, and they're off to a very, very good start. They have the better pitcher here, at least on paper, so you got to kind of favor them here. They're a slight favorite, -125, over under 8.5. But the Pirates off to a good start. Let's see, next game, Orioles and the Red Sox. Corbin Burns gets another start now. I feel like he's been missing in action. Does he have only the one start? No, he's pitched 11.2 innings. So he's lost to my shuffle somewhere, but 14 Ks over those 11.2 innings, 10 hits, 1 home run for him. He gets Brayan Bello, 5.4 ERA for him. He's pitched 10 innings, 10 hits, 8 Ks. Had one really, really good start, and then a little bit rough there on the back end. Let's see. The Red Sox are on fire, man. 7-3 for them. So they're 2 games up on Baltimore right now. Baltimore is the favorite here, but the home opener for the Sox. Let's see. What do they call for weather up there? 60 degrees today. Pretty skies. So they are one of those teams here, and we lost Trevor Story to an injury. So we'll see how long he'll be on the DL for. But the Red Sox, not much respect for them preseason, but they've been good. A big offensive output against the Angels. A nice just West Coast trip overall as they trickled down the coast from Seattle to Oakland to Anaheim, and able to handle their business. We'll see how they respond coming home after the road trip. The Orioles, a couple batters having some issues, like Mullins just hitting 143 for them. We'll get into some batting averages this week, just because we're behind for today in my mind. With the reboot issues in the studio, we're not going to get into any advanced analytics of batting and pitching. We will get into that as the course of the week goes. Let's see, who's next? Guardians and the White Sox. Soroka, the former Braves pitcher, is for the White Sox, 4.91 ERA. Logan Allen is the pitcher for the Guardians, 2.31. He's been doing very well for him, 11.2 innings pitched, just 10 hits, 9 strikeouts. He does have a couple of home runs. Shane Bieber has the press conference yesterday. He's just demoralized. He's going to lose him for a whole nother season, plus more probably, with his injury, coming back off a substantial injury. Pitched through to Payne against Seattle, but knew something was wrong, so got to give him a little bit of toughness there. Maybe he should have listened to his elbow when he felt it. I mean, maybe the damage is done. You just never know. But Bieber is going to be out for some significant time. That does hurt a very dominant Cleveland pitching rotate. Cleveland, to me, they have the best pitching and bullpen so far. I mean, they're not giving up anything for runs to their opponents. And their offense has improved. Jose Ramirez, if he gets that batting average up, it's going to be an MVP caliber candidate for sure. How about Stephen Kwan hitting 383? Wow. Ramirez has 9 RBIs already on the season, so that's about almost 1 a game for him. And, they're not working for much over there on the other side with the White Sox. So you got to favor Cleveland here again. They're minus 215. Over under is 8.5 here. The problem is, if you're trying to take a Cleveland over, is that other team trying to get runs, and you're trying to rely on the White Sox. So maybe not the best way to approach things, but Cleveland, nice with an 8-2 record overall. Let's see, Brewers and the Reds. They'll play. They'll come back after their wacky game yesterday. The pitchers that will try to settle things down will be Joe Ross, who has a 0 ERA in his 3.12 innings pitched. 0.77 for Frankie Montas, 11.2 innings pitched for Montas, with that 0.77 ERA. Just 9 hits allowed, 9 strikeouts. So he's off to a really, really good start as well. This has, after that big high-scoring game last night, a chance for a tie in the first inning result, 0-0. Again, you try to avoid the under half a run in the first inning by taking the first inning result in a tie, which that method of changing from under half a run in the first inning to first inning result in a tie comes back and pays off for us last Friday in the Giants and the Padres game. Oh, man, let me tell you, we are just slightly away from some really big jackpots lately. It's a little disheartening, to be honest. Let's see. What else do we have on the slate? The next game on the board, Marlins and the Yankees. Oh, here we go. Our one bad pitcher we managed to keep on our bad pitcher list so far, and I've been trying to add to it. But some guys who have had potential to jump on that list, the bad pitcher list, just have come up with some okay outings. So I'm not ready to throw them under the bus completely yet. But A.J. Puck for the Marlins, A.J. Puke, P-U-K, spelling of the last name, 0-2 with his 9.00 ERA, will face the high-powered Yankees lineup. 0-0 is Carlos Rodon, 2.79 ERA for him. But in Puck's 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 strikeouts, and 9 walks. That's going to be his issue for the lefty. Rodon, 2.79 ERA in his 9.2 innings pitched. The Yankees just have it. At any given moment, they can crush the baseball out of the park, like Juan Soto did last night. 2 home runs for Soto, 357 batting average on the season, 10 RBIs. I mean, that's an MVP start right there. Giancarlo Stanton, he now has 3 home runs on the season. Anthony Volpe is hitting .417 for the Yankees. Let's see. Anthony Volpe leads the all of Major League Baseball in batting average. How about that? Him and Orlando Arcia for Atlanta, both are hitting .417. In fact, let's go down that leader list real quick. Let's just see what we got after we're 9, 10, 11 games in. Ryan McMahon for Colorado is hitting .415. Will Smith for the Dodgers hitting .400. William Contreras for Milwaukee is hitting .389. Stephen Kwan for Cleveland, .383. Bryce Terang for Milwaukee, 3.79, 0.379 batting average. Spencer Steer for the Reds, .378. Mookie Betts, .375. Alex Kirilloff, .370. Corey Seager, .368. Michael Harris II, .361. Tyler O'Neill for the Red Sox, .357. Juan Soto is hitting .357. Logan O'Hoppe for the Angels, .355. Conforto, how about Michael Conforto, .351 for him. And the list goes on. You're going to have plenty of 300 hitters right now. Otani's hitting .345. How about Marcell Ozuna, .325 with some dingers as well. How many home runs does Ozuna have? feel like he has a bunch. He has 5 on the season. So I think that leads the league, right? Christian Yelich has 4 home runs. I see Mookie Betts has 5 as well. Tyler O'Neill has 5 home runs. Mookie Betts has 5, yeah. So some good batting averages and some names you just don't usually hear towards the top as well. Mike Trout has 5 home runs. He would be the other guy with 5. All right, so there are some of your batting averages. We'll get more into that kind of thing. But we'll favor, going against Putes and auto play, and the Yankees have been on fire. So they're scoring with not much scoring output, if that makes sense. I mean, they are really feasting on their limited, 3-run home run by Volpe, 3-run home run by Soto. They win 7-0, right? So imagine if they can just start hitting a little bit more, and they're really going to put up some big crooked numbers. Let's see. Mariners and Blue Jays. George Kirby will try to rebound after his bad outing against Cleveland. Bassett, he's been getting shelled. Chris Bassett, if he gets shelled again, then we're going to throw him on the bad pitcher list, which you don't think of Chris Bassett being on there. But something is clearly not right with him. He's definitely regressed here in the last couple of years. But both pitchers off to a rough start. I don't trust the Mariners offense. I don't trust the Blue Jays offense. That's the problem here. I think this series you just stay away from altogether, to be honest. Astros and the Royals. Interesting. Royals are feisty, 6-4 overall. Raggins is the pitcher tonight, 1.46. He'll get Christian Javier, who has not given up an earned run all season in his 11 innings pitched. So good pitchers duel here. Good candidate for a first inning result in a tie, I would think, in this game. Houston is a slight favorite because they are the namesake. Let's see, Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting 350. Salvador Perez has his 2 home runs. Yordan Alvarez has 4 home runs, hitting 295. Altuve is hitting 341. So both of these teams do have the capability to score, but a tough pitching matchup here. 2 of the better pitchers in baseball right now, for sure, you would think. Christian Javier, you just always want to fade him, but he's been showing up. He'll have his bad spurts, but he's tough to go against this time of the year. Glass now for the Dodgers at Varland for Minnesota. Glass now 3.18 ERA, 2.0 overall for him and the Dodgers. Louis Varland, 6.75 ERA for him, 4 innings pitched, 0-1, 6 hits, 4 walks, a home run. I think you got to lean Dodgers on this one. They won last night. They're minus 185 today, 8.5 over under. It seems like their bats have chilled out a little bit in the series against the Cubs. They had a rough go of it, losing 2 of 3. And then just winning 4-2 last night, I think, was the final. Maybe they got another run late. I think it was 4-2. But the Glass now, you would think has the edge in this one. 7:45 Eastern time for the Phillies and the Cardinals. Miles Michaelis gets off the schneid of being on the bad pitchers list last night, as he's had 2 decent performances here in a row. So maybe he's improved. They'll go with Sonny Gray today and Zach Wheeler. So this is an interesting pitching matchup. Gray, the seasoned veteran now at this point, first start of the season for him. Wheeler has pitched 12 innings, just 8 hits, 15 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. So he's as good as it gets right now, 0.75 ERA. I would expect both of these teams struggling at the plate a little bit for sure. So, you're not getting consistent, dominant offensive output on either end like some of these other teams are giving you. A chance of rain here as well. So, again, another first inning result and a tie would be an angle you could go for there. Athletics and the Rangers. Wood is on the mound against Evaldi. Texas will be happy to get Oakland in and get Houston out of there. Pesky series for them. Wood has been getting shelled, 9.72 ERA for him, 0-1, 8 innings pitched, 8.1 innings pitched, 13 hits. Evaldi, 13 innings pitched, 8 hits. So the opposite for those two. You just got to lean with the Rangers here, right? A's 3-7. They are not the worst with a couple teams, just with one win. But minus 225 for the Rangers. I heard the Marlins were 30-1 to have the worst record in baseball. They're right now the worst record, and they don't look good. So maybe something to look into for that. Let's see, what else do we have? I can see the scores settling down tonight as opposed to last night, though. Wacky night last night, maybe not so much tonight. Merrill Kelly will get the nod for the Diamondbacks against Cal Quantrill for the Rockies. Quantrill 9.00 ERA. Merrill Kelly 1.98, so he's off to a good start. But the Diamondbacks 4-7 overall. All right, you almost feel like, Diamondbacks are off to a good start. No, just 4-7, and the Rockies are 3-8, so they just lead the Rockies by one full game in their division. And they don't lead. I mean, they are immersed down there with the Giants and let's see, the Padres 6-7 are better, and the Dodgers should be at first, right? If I go ahead and look at this real quick, yeah, Dodgers 9-4 easily in first place in the West. Let's see. Rays and Angels, Savali and Sandoval. Aaron Savali had a decent outing his last time, 1.50 ERA. This is a series I just don't have any interest in. Again, 6.14 for the Angels. I think these are two teams you either go against or you don't play on them. It's a go against only, and they're facing each other, so we'll pass on all of that. Let's see. Harrison and Josiah Gray for the Giants and the Nationals. Kyle Harrison, 4.91 ERA in his 11 innings pitched, 12 hits, 9 strikeouts. And Josiah Gray, in his 8.1 innings pitched, has given up 15 hits, 9 strikeouts, 2 home runs. That's a lot of hits. 14.04 ERA for him. Conforto again is hitting 351. He leads in home runs, batting averages, and RBIs for them. How about C.J. Abrams, 321 hit for him hitting, and Joey Gallo, couple home runs, batting average you'd like to see a little bit better than 182. I don't know. This is going to be a no play. 53 degrees and chilly in San Francisco and Washington later on, late night tonight. Oh, man, after the late night with basketball and waking up to the nonsense of the studio this morning, we're hoping to be asleep well before this game starts. And the last game on the slate, the Cubs and the Padres. Cubs are undecided against Joe Musgrove. Musgrove, nice effort his last time out after getting shelled in Korea against the Dodgers. He's 1-1, 6.28 ERA, but he rebounded well. We'll see who the Cubs throw out there. Wacky game last night. You think you're up 8-0 there in the 7th. You think you're good to go, or 6th inning, and you're cruising home, and then everything falls apart on you. So tough loss for the Cubs, who would have been 7-3, but are now 6-4. That's kind of a big difference, really, in this early stage of the season. But a nice, much needed win for the Padres. All right, so the best plays there. Let's see. We talked about the Braves and the Mets. I don't think we got to that. Aaron Hauser and is it Rodrigo Lopez? Ronaldo Lopez for the Braves. Let's see. In Hauser, both pitchers, decent starts their first time out. Braves have a lot of pop. We'll see if they can get to Hauser tonight. I mean, the Braves are an auto play on their runs, but the Mets have a good bullpen. You got to remember that. They were able to get the 7 runs last night. 4 of those off Julian Teheran, the former Brave himself. But the bullpen settled down. They only gave up 3 runs from the 3rd inning on. So you would take that anytime against the tough Braves lineup. Tough pitcher matchup. We'll see what Hauser has. He's interesting. He keeps the Braves at bay. The Mets bats, you feel like are waking up a little bit. I mean, they were as dormant as they could be. So they're just able to get production like from Beatty, who they haven't had it from before. He's been giving them something to Nemo and et cetera, et cetera. The list goes down the line. Then the Mets are going to definitely be better than what they started off with. And a nice rally for them. They were 0-5, now 4-6 overall after starting 0-5. So they won 4 of 5 games. You got to give them credit for that. Braves 6-3 overall. I would say that the best play, I think you just have to lean with the Pirates. I would be wary of everything else, to be honest. Cleveland would be the other one against the White Sox. So Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Yankees would be another one you could ride with, I think, against AJ Puke. And then I think you have to lean with the Dodgers again. And then after that, it's a little bit tough sledding. Rangers, I think you can count on them rebounding at home against the Athletics. I would say Diamondbacks and Rockies, but something about this Rockies team is, they do things like hit grand slams in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat you, like they did against Tampa. So we'll lay off of the Rockies D-backs. I don't trust the D-backs right now. But I think the Rangers, Dodgers, Yankees, Guardians, Pirates. All right, that's a simple 5-way you could do. Let's see if we can even pull that up real quick. Let's see if they'll let me log in real fast. After all this mass rebooting. All right, so let's just kind of lock these ones in. The Pirates are pretty cheap today, so that's good. And then we'll throw Cleveland in there. We'll throw the Yankees. We'll throw the Dodgers and the Rangers. All right, so those 5 are paying plus 839 if all 5 can win. So that's Pirates, Guardians, Yankees, Dodgers, and Rangers. You would be fading the teams you would be going against would be the Tigers, White Sox, Marlins, Twins, and the A's. So again, it's all taking the good teams and going against the bad teams. I mean, it's as simple as that. All right, let's get to the NBA slate. Full slate there tonight. And then you'll have to tune in, for the most part, for the hockey, for what the puck is going on. We'll do that show at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We'll kind of glance through the slate of here and then get the full breakdown on what the puck is going on as we will do that program 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening. All right, Pistons and the 76ers. Let's see. Can I get my standings up here real quick? That'll be important for this. Let's reset the landscape for the standings. Let's go to the East, where play-in and playoffs all up for grabs still for 6 teams. Basically, will jockey for 4 playoff spots. The other 2 will be stuck in a play-in. Teams in the play-in already are the Bulls and the Hawks. Teams in the playoffs already are the Celtics and the Bucks. As bad as the Bucks have been, they're 47-31 overall. So how bad can they be? Let's see here. Okay, so the Magic at 46-32, and this is with 4 games left to play. Some teams have 3 games left to play. Everything will end on Sunday this week. And no games Saturday, right? Yet. Everyone will play Sunday. It looks like everyone in the East will play at 1 o'clock. Everyone in the West plays at 3:30. And then we will have everything decided for the final. So we'll see how these teams do this week. Important week for all these teams. The Magic at 46-32 are in the third spot. Knicks, same record in the fourth spot. Half a game back. Cleveland in the fifth spot. 1.5 back Indiana. They are in the sixth spot. They are the last team in the playoff right now. That's a 1-game lead over Philadelphia and a 1.5 game lead over Miami in the East. So Philly and Miami right now would be in the play-in as your 7th and 8th. In the West, the teams to have clinched the playoff are the T-Wolves, Nuggets, and Thunder. The teams jockeying for position after that, with 3 to 4 games left to play, would be, let's see, the Clippers are basically safe. They're going to one win and they'll be in the playoff. Dallas is in a good spot at number 5, 2 games up on the Phoenix Suns. So they just need to win a couple of games. Phoenix 46-32 in the 6th spot. The 7th spot is the Pelicans with the same record. A game behind them are the Kings in 8th. Lakers at 45-34. Bad loss to the T-Wolves. Are a game and a half back at Phoenix. But they have 5 games left to play. Yeah, 4 games left. 78, 79, 80. 5 games left to play for the Lakers. They're going to have a busy week. No, they have 79 games. Bad math on me. So 3 games left to play for them. And the Warriors, it looks like they're going to be stuck in the play-in regardless in that 9 or 10 spot. They are at 43-35. Rockets eliminated with that comeback, come from behind win by Dallas Sunday in overtime. Let's see. Okay. So the teams are really going to be trying hard to get out of their play-in will be Miami and Philadelphia, and then the Pelicans, the Kings. The Kings are really having issues down the stretch, although they won in Jersey. Let's see, the Lakers, although they might be resided to the play-in with another loss. The Suns, those are going to be your motivated teams, really. It's Phoenix, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Lakers. All right, so let's see how we can apply that. All right, that being said, the 76ers are at home against the Pistons, 15.5-point favorites, 221.5. So that's going to reflect in the line there. That's crazy. The Pistons have been, you're just really not, as you really don't know what you're getting from them lately, to be honest. So nothing there, really. The Pacers, minus 11.5 over Toronto. Toronto, as much as they seemingly quit, they're coming off a couple of good wins here in a row. And the Pacers, a bad loss in New Jersey. But they did handle Miami the other night at home. The Pacers are going to want this. Siakam, too, he returns home. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lineup Toronto throws out there as well. Again, you're going to have to pay attention to lineups on some of these teams before tip-off. You were really seeing them go to the bench on some of these guys like Toronto may, and the Pacers would be a real sharp play there. Let's see. Dallas and Charlotte. Dallas is minus 13 over under 222. Now, Charlotte's been an over team lately. They've been scoring a lot of points. They haven't quit. They give up a lot of points as well. So I think 222 is going to be cheap in this regard. So potential total over here, especially with a motivated Dallas team. The Celtics have nothing to play for, but they'll be 2-point favorites at Milwaukee, who has nothing to play for. 228 the total there. Probably an under scenario, as you might see these teams deep into the bench. Let's see. Atlanta's kind of resided to the play-in game, but they're still motivated to get a game at home. They'll get Miami. Miami needs this in the worst way. They're laying 3.5. They've been pretty much hot, except for a bad loss. A couple bad losses there to Houston and Indiana. So we'll see if they get their ship right. -3.5 here, over under 222. That total actually might be too low. I could see that kind of going over, to be honest. Atlanta's been better at home scoring points. The T-Wolves and the Wizards, this could be a beatdown here. The Wizards are small. The T-Wolves are big and defensively tough. Let's see what kind of effort the Wizards give. They were bent down huge against Toronto to start that game. Never fully came back, but at least had some heart to rally over the weekend. T-Wolves coming home after a pretty successful road trip, I would say. But T-Wolves are good. I mean, just when you think they might turn into a bad team, they stayed right at the top all season long. They'll get Towns back for the playoffs, it looks like, as well. So a team to watch is Minnesota for sure. You're probably still going to get a good price on them to win the West as well. We'll have to see what the playoff odds end up being when it's all said and done. With the matchups when they're listed, let's see. Magic and the Rockets. Rockets are done. Magic are motivated, but still a tough matchup. What kind of effort are you going to get from Houston would be the question here. You would think potentially that this is going to be a playoff type of game for Magic, a good litmus test anyway. 214.5 seems like a high total for these two teams, but they've both been playing a little bit more offensively sound as of late as well. Let's see, Spurs and the Grizzlies. Spurs -3.5, 214.5. Do we get Wemby on the court? That'd be the question here. And then what kind of lineup is Memphis going to throw out there as well with their injuries? So at the end of the day, two bad teams. 214.5 might be too light. These two teams might actually just try to go up and down on each other. Let's see, Knicks and the Bulls. Again, a rematch of last week. They played. The Bulls beat them right last time out, and they'll play one more time this week as well. It's kind of a weird stretch for these two playing each other 3 times in the last couple of weeks. The Knicks are a 4-point favorite, over under 213. Mainly it's hard to say who needs them more, right? Let's see, with the Knicks settled in that 4th spot. They still have work to do to keep it, and they don't want to go to 5th. I mean, they can actually get home field or home court against the number 5, who would be Cleveland right now, and that's a tough series for the Knicks. And Cleveland has all the revenge in the world from last season, where the Knicks took them out. So, and the Bulls want to keep that home playoff game as well. So you would expect a playoff type of matchup here. Sacramento and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City may be in cruise control a little bit, but they can still get the number 1 seed overall, right? Let's see. How far are they back of that? 1 full game back. So they can still get the number 1 seed overall. That's going to mean potentially a lot to them, especially a young team, if they can make that happen. The Kings need it in the worst way. I could see some points here, 226.5. Both of these teams quite capable on offense. Both can shoot the 3, et cetera, et cetera. The Nuggets are laying 15.5 at Utah, over under 225.5 in that game. So we'll see there. Utah has basically quit on the season. The Nuggets on fire. They win by 30 points to Atlanta over the weekend. And they're trying to finish their season strong. But if they coast to a victory, that's all they care about, to be honest. The Suns and the Clippers. The Suns care about this a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some players sit for the Clippers. So pay attention to the lineups here. Suns -7.5. That may be too much, though. I mean, they're a hard team to really trust at the end of the day. Over under 226.5. I'll tell you what, man, this is a tough slate of Major League Baseball and NBA. I mean, I don't have a lot for you here. The Lakers -2.5. at home against Golden State over under 234, and this is a play-in potential. You could see these guys easily playing here in about a week for a play-in game. For both of these teams, I mean, it just seems like they're kind of settled where they're at as well in their spots. Better opportunity for the Lakers to move up than the Warriors. Tough game. Good game. I think you'll see full efforts from both. Warriors could just be residing being comfortable in that last spot as well. So again, check your lineups for the evening. And then the Pelicans are at the Trailblazers. Pelicans minus 13, 212.5. I would think this would be your best play of the day with the Pelicans. They want to win this game. Blazers coming off a long road trip, et cetera, et cetera. So Pelicans the most motivated team, but man, you got to lay some big numbers for these teams who have to have it today. I would say that the best play overall, I mean, the one I would look at is the over in the Dallas and the Hornets, 222. Just try to go take that one to the bank and try not to worry about too much else. The Pacers would be the other one. Probably laying the points on the road, I think, is a good one at Toronto, as they need that as well. All right, and then we do have a little bit of soccer today. We have Champions League. Two good games today. Arsenal and Bayern Munich. Arsenal's a favorite there against Harry Kane, as he'll return back to the UK for soccer in Bayern. So that's a good, fun matchup. Two heavyweights of the world. And then Real Madrid and Man City will play each other as well. Of course, I like the Premier League teams. Man City's plus 155 to beat Real Madrid at Madrid. I think that's fair. You're getting a plus money with Man City today. And then the Arsenal and Bayern game, I could see some goals there. Let's see. What's the over-under of 3.5 goals? Yeah, you get 2-1 for over 3.5 goals. And plus 510 for over 4.5 goals. So you're getting paid off good. But here's the deal. Some of these first legs of these Champions League games, they just feel each other out for the most part. Arsenal at home, you would think, is going to be more motivated to get the goals because they're going to have to. They'll play again a home and home. So the next game will be at Bayern Munich, and then it's the total of the two games combined is who moves forward. So the home team here, Arsenal, you would think is definitely more motivated to get some goals at home. Let's see, their home team. 2.5 goals for Arsenal is at plus 240. Usually Arsenal is about even money for that, so you're getting a nice plus price there. Man City, you got to favor them on the road as well, I think. Take them at plus 155, straight up. So that would be a nice little play. Arsenal home team over 2.5 goals, and Man City, that should pay off. Let's see here. 5, 6 for 1. Let's see. Plus 767 for Man City straight up and Arsenal to get 2.5 goals over. And then we have some championship. And then I'll highlight the NHL. You'll have to tune into What the Puck is Going On tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern for all of that here on the Deep End Broadcasting Network. All right, chance for teams to get over 2.5 goals today or just to win straight up. Leicester against Millwall, we will take. Preston has a good chance. I would say just to win, plus 155 at home. They're not a high-scoring output of goal team, but straight up on the win would be okay. Coventry and Southampton, both of these teams could combine for goals. Coventry at plus 320 is an attractive price. They've been really, really good. Let's see. Plymouth and QPR are two bad teams that play a little bit of an open style. So maybe they can get something going here at the end of the season. Stinkfest, potential goals there. Norwich, who's been on fire, as at Sheffield Wednesday who can give up a bunch of goals. So maybe Norwich team goals over 2.5 for them. And then Leeds host Sunderland as a heavy favorite. Both of these teams could actually combine for goals. Leeds probably the more likely with the home team goals for them. But I would say Norwich is a good play. And Norwich, Leicester, Norwich for their team goals over 2.5. Preston straight up plus 155. And go ahead and throw Leicester in there at over 2.5 goals as well. All right, so decent payoff there if you like those. And then the big games on the ice tonight. And we'll reset the standings for you there. In the East, let's see where we are in the East. Okay, it is going to be very, very congestion in the East. Let's see here. All right, teams who have clinched: Rangers, Bruins, Hurricanes, Panthers, Maple Leafs, Lightning. That leaves 2 spots for the following teams, all separated by 6 points with either 4 or 5 games left to play. You have the Islanders at 85 points. They are in the number 7 right now. Detroit would be your number 8 with 84 points. The Penguins right now 84 points in 9th. Capitals 83 points in 10th. Flyers 83 points in 11th. So the Flyers, after a rough weekend, they fall out of the playoff picture. New Jersey 79 points and Buffalo 79 points, still alive there, but they could be eliminated shortly. So you figure for the most part it's Flyers, Capitals, Penguins, Wings, and Islanders fighting it out here. The Devils and the Sabres will need basically a miracle. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. In the West, Dallas, Vancouver, Colorado, Winnipeg, Edmonton all have clinched. That leaves 3 spots left for 5 teams: Nashville, the Kings, and the Knights. The Knights right now would be your 8th team with 92 points overall. And then trailing them are the Blues with 87, barely a lifeline. And the Wild with 83. How are the Wild not eliminated here? What am I missing? Because they can catch. I don't know. It doesn't make sense why I don't see Minnesota as an eliminated team. When they have 5 games and the Kings lose out, they can get, or Vegas loses out, they can get in. All right. So Minnesota must win out. Vegas or the Kings must lose out for Minnesota to get in. And then the Blues, barely a prayer, themselves 5 points out of the last spot. All right, so the key games on the ice for all that. Let's see. Canes and Bruins, a playoff potential matchup. Could be jockeying for position there. The Islanders get the Rangers at home, so a tough game for them. The Devils get the Maple Leafs at home, so a tough game for them. Ottawa's at Florida. Columbus is at Tampa. The Flyers are at Montreal in a have-to-have-it scenario. And then the big game is going to be Detroit and Washington. I mean, that's basically a playoff game tonight. That's 7:10 Eastern Standard Time. So big game there. The Red Wings are the favorite. That's going to be your biggest game on ice tonight. Winnipeg's at the Predators. The Sabres are at the Stars. So these teams in the East have some tough matchups all the way around. So maybe an advantage to this Washington or Detroit team if they can win their game tonight. Let's see, Minnesota's at Colorado, so that could be their season. The Kings are at the Ducks. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time with the Kings losing out when they're playing teams like Anaheim. Arizona's at Seattle, and Calgary is at San Jose. So the big game on ice tonight are the Capitals and the Red Wings. Okay, go to the YouTube, Deep End 757 Broadcasting for the replay. We will congratulate the Yukon Huskies. We'll get back on to normal time tomorrow with Hopefully, we won't wake up to mass reboot issues. That's always a threat in the world of technology, right? We can blame the eclipse for all the studio issues this morning. All right, if you need a replay, Deep End 757 broadcasting on your YouTube. Search Round Robin on your YouTube and you will find us there. Have a lovely spring Tuesday.